What's up, everybody? It is Saturday, and I just got back from a pretty awesome four-wheel drive. We were out in the desert trails near Stoddard Wells Road, and yeah, just having a good time. So yeah, it was pretty sweet. So what's going on with the price? Well, um, that's what we're going to talk about. By the way, I'm going to Anaheim tonight, and we're gonna go see the Monster Jam show. My son, 3 years old, never been, always likes monster trucks, so he's gonna get a real kick out of it. I think what we have here is obviously we broke this range to the upside, right? And we came right up here as expected, back to the little pivot point right there. So the idea here is this is going to be some kind of flat, and then we can go up and get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then we can start to flag out in here, maybe even hit the low again before continuing higher. That's kind of what I'm thinking for XRP. Now, another way this could happen is if we come back down and we back test this area, right? And then maybe come up for a B wave. Now there's two pivots here. The B wave can come down for another C wave. We can hit the low here and then go, or this can come up and hit the high and then kind of do that same thing and then go. So those are the two or three options there. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. It is the weekend. The main thing I want to see is us survive, right? So last Sunday we survived. The Sunday before that, we got obliterated. So as long as we hold strong, we're good. We got plenty of wiggle room. I mean, in order for us to get really bearish, the price would have to go down 30+%, which I just don't see that happening. So we're pretty good. Now, I had a cool question about derivatives and tokenization. So I think this is a good answer, but basically the way XRP can get a massive price is not the tokenization of stocks and bonds. Yeah, it'll be massive, but if you can get the tokenization of derivatives, right? So derivatives is basically like, for example, a crypto derivative is a contract that derive their value from the underlying asset. So I trade derivatives. That's the futures contract. So anytime you go to an exchange and you trade leverage, that is, you're trading a derivative of the underlying asset, right? And derivatives can have a profound impact on the way the underlying asset is, right? So if it's up or down or whatever. So if you look at the stock market and you look at there's all sorts of different derivatives. So you have like forward contracts. I'm not sure what those are too much. You got the futures contract. So we talked about that, right? Basically, so a futures contract is an agreement to buy or sell a commodity or asset at the price of the future date. Futures contracts are a type of financial derivative that can help blah, blah, blah. So let's go back here. Okay, let's show more. So another one would be options contracts, right? And basically it gives them the right to purchase or sell an asset to the other at a future date or an agreed price. There are two types of options, calls and puts. I have no idea. I've never traded options before, but I know people who have, and it's pretty interesting. You have swaps, and you also have like equity derivatives. Basically, this is a big one, I think, because if you take the equity of, let's say, a major large company, and if you can take that derivative and tokenize it, and then you can trade it, that would be a big game changer. And the where I'm coming from is XRP, right? XRP would be the king, in my opinion, at taking tokenized assets and trading them, because the ledger is very clean, very fast, and it's stood the test of time. It's had lawsuits thrown at it. It's had complete vetted by many different people, right? So, I mean, it's solid. And like Brad Garlinghouse said, you know, they started off doing books, Amazon, right? And now look what they do. So he loves to compare Amazon to Ripple, right? Ripple is to payments as Amazon was to books. Now Amazon is everything, including the kitchen sink, right? So what do you think Ripple's going to do? You know, they started off doing payments. That's their main thing, because everybody, grandma, grandpa, uncle, cousin, neighbor, everybody knows payments. Payments is what everybody knows. Not everybody knows what an oracle is, or what a smart contract is, or what a layer 2 is, right? But everyone knows what a payment is. And that's why I think XRP is the dominant figure in that space. Bitcoin tried to be a payment network, but it's not really a payment network. It's a store of value. And they don't really have any solid infrastructure to get it done. I mean, they're only looking at 7 to 10 transactions per second, which is not sustainable. You cannot scale Bitcoin transactions to the global economy in a utility world, right? So that's exactly where we're heading. And once we get those regulations, it's going to be game on, right? Because they already passed the House. They need to pass the Senate. Trump will sign it, right? Plus, you get the XRP ETFs. It's going to be a good deal. Again, you got futures and options. You got swaps, CFDs. I'm not too sure about CFDs. I know what they are. I'm just not sure. You got hedging, arbitrage. So yeah, I mean, derivatives is a major financial. I mean, you ever listen to Bix Weir? I mean, basically the entire financial markets are controlled by computers and derivatives. And basically he says, you know, it's a click of a mouse. If they want to, that's why silver and gold, right? You have derivatives on the for the underlying asset of gold and silver, and basically they can rig the price. So if you have 1 billion ounces, you know, getting bought up, and you have JP Morgan putting sell stops, right, on a futures contract and dumping paper contracts on the market, that is basically price manipulation in order to control the price. Why would JP Morgan want to control the price of silver? Because silver is a reflection of the currency that we all use, the dollar. JP Morgan wants you in dollars, but they want themselves in assets like gold and silver and real things, real estate, right? But they don't want you in that stuff. They want you in dollars. They want you in cash, so that they can inflate the cash, so that they can have their assets rise in value, which really isn't rising anything. It's because when, you know, it's really the cash that is dying. And, you know, XRP is not going to $5. It's not. What's happening is the dollar is going down. XRP is not going up. The dollar is going down. That's why we see things like that. But XRP can go up faster than the dollar goes down, right? So if you have, I don't know, 100 XRP, 200 XRP, you go to Best Buy and you buy yourself a nice TV, right? All right, well, you take that same amount of money and you can buy a TV. But in, let's say, a couple years from now, that 200 XRP is now at $20, $30, right? You can buy freaking 10 TVs, you know, way more than that. So, you know, but anyways, I just wanted to kind of go through what derivatives are. Derivatives is the key to XRP, I think. So if you look at how derivatives can be tokenized by representing the contractual rights and obligations of a derivative contract as digital tokens on a blockchain, essentially creating a digital representation of the underlying derivative, which is kind of funny because derivatives are the underlining of an asset. So that, you know, but So representation of the underlying derivative that can be traded and managed on a decentralized platform. That's another big deal because the banks, they want you trading with them, like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, right? Those types of places, they want you, they're financial advisors, and they want you to basically take your entire net worth and give it to them and let them build it for you based off the instruments that they have and the things like that. And that's what people have been doing forever. I mean, that's what we're taught to do, but not me. I'm not doing that. I am in control of my own destiny and I take control over my own assets. I'm not in any stock market. I cashed out my 401k, which is really a 403b because I work for a school. Same thing, but I basically quit my job. I cashed out my 401k. I sold my house and I put it pretty much a lot of it in crypto. And it was a very scary thing. But that's not why I sold my house. I sold my house because interest rates were rising too high and I wanted to get out of the market because I was pretty much expecting some major event under Joe Biden. It didn't happen, but that's okay because it worked out much better because now I'm living real cheap, right? I'm not spending a house payment. So I'm living very cheap and I'm able to save a lot of money and I'm sitting on the money that I sold my house with and XRP is rising, so it's all working out. So basically, I bought the house for 400,000. No, sorry, 200,000 in 2015 and then I sold it in 22, the summer of 22 for 410, 415, right around there. So I doubled, right? So to me, that was good enough, right? Again, I'm a trader and I bought a house 7 years later. It doubled in value. I took the profit. Now, so, that wasn't my plan to do that, but it just happened that way. So, yeah, is there going to be a major housing crash for me to, buy the dip? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe houses will keep going up, but at the same time, if I take, for example, you know, um, I won't say exactly how much I invested, but let's say because I probably walked away with over 200,000, right? Because I only had the house for 7 years, so I didn't have that much equity in it, but I had a lot because I would always make extra payments, things like that. So I walked away with over 200,000, and I took X amount of thousand and I put it into XRP and other crypto, mainly XRP. And now that money that I put in XRP actually, gained in value. How much percent? Well, if we look here, this was the summer of 22 right here. Because once we started crashing, I'm like, okay, this is going to take longer. So I made the decision to sell the house somewhere in here as we started crashing. And then once we were all through here, this is where I was accumulating, right? And then once we came up here, I got a little worried at first, and then I continued to accumulate, and now we're up here. So basically, I had an average price. I don't really know exactly, but I'll just cut it in half. I'll say around 43 cents or so. So we're looking at 500%, right? So the equity that I liquidated into cash was now converted into XRP. Not all of it, don't get me wrong. I didn't sell my house to go all in on XRP. I think that's reckless, and I think that's kind of very scary. And I mean, but looking back at it, it kind of was a genius move if you think about it. So I'm still sitting on the house money. I'm still sitting on my XRP and basically just waiting. So if this thing actually goes up and hits $8, $9, $10, right, I could take the XRP that I sold my house. And it's not that much, guys. It's not like I took $100,000 and I put it into XRP. If I did, maybe I should have done that. That would have been awesome. But most of the money I'm still holding as far as cash goes. And a lot of the money I put into other assets. I put into some gold, some silver, and some Bitcoin. Back when Bitcoin was less than, what was it? I think it was less than 30K, right? Yeah. And yeah, so now I'm just kind of waiting. And my plan is to buy a house with XRP. And that way, when I buy a new house, basically I got the house for free in some aspects, because the money that that I'm sitting on, some of that money went into XRP, and now that XRP went up significantly, and now it's basically made it up and then some. You know what I mean? Because the worst thing to do is sell a house, right? And then sit on the cash, and then wait 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, and then buy another house. Well, now that cash that you waited 5 years has completely depreciated in value. So now the house that, you made a profit on the house, first of all. But now when you go to sell it, right? And then you're waiting to buy your new house, during that 3 to 5 years, the value goes down, right? So then when you go buy another house, it's actually more expensive. But a lot of people will think, well, they made out because they made a profit on their last house. Yeah, but that profit got ate away from inflation. So that's why you want to take your profit, like I did. I made money on the house. I took the profit and I put it into XRP, and that XRP made me more profit, right? So now I have twice, I made profit twice. So now I'm going to take, so what that does is that makes the purchasing power twice as strong, right? Especially, this move here was 500%, right? It was, I don't really like saying numbers, but it was around, between 80 and 100,000 XRP. All right. So if, let's just say it's 100,000 XRP. Okay. So if you have 100,000 XRP right here, there's your 100,000 XRP. And let's say we go up to $10. Well, that's $1 million, right? So basically I sold my house for $1 million. If you think about it, that wasn't my intention. It just happened, that was the way it worked out. I don't want to be the guy on YouTube who's known for selling his house and going all in on XRP with a genius move. No, I think that's actually reckless. I think it's not a good thing, because you just don't know, man. Like, let's say you sold your house, you bought XRP, and it kept going down. Well, you would have been wrecked. Not only did you lose money on XRP, but then you took the value of your house, the equity, and now it's liquidated into cash, and now that cash is 50% less than what it was before you sold it, right? That's why I don't ever go all in, But then once I started seeing evidence of accumulation, especially in here, right? Because again, we were counting this. We nailed this range. We were counting this like this. Like, we had 3 up, right? We had 3 down. It was perfect. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get 5. So there's your ABC, right? But back over here, all I had was this. I didn't know it was going to do that. However, when you take all of this off and you take this line right here, this is the most significant line in XRP, which is 31 cents. Look at this, from here to here, all through here, and then here, 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 and then all of this, right? Once we had a double bottom here, and then we had 5 up, during this leg is where I bought most of the XRP with the house money. So again, if XRP goes to $100 or $100, if it goes to $10, that money, so the money that I'm sitting on with the house, and then also the money that I invested with XRP, and then all the other assets, once we get into this area, right? Once we break out, I'm not going to wait until $8, $9, $10. I'll probably start selling before that, and I'll rotate it into a coin, maybe Theta, maybe Matic, maybe HBAR. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe Monero, right? And then that way I can ride it up again. So I basically, again, so you have house money, write it up, right? Then swap. So you take cash, swap it for a house, right? Then swap that for XRP and crypto, right? And then swap that into another crypto, right? Another crypto, maybe Theta or whatever, right? And then take that and then swap it back for a house. I mean, that's like that's an Albert Einstein formula right there. So there you go. Now, why am I saying all this? What does this have to do with anything? I don't know. I just started talking about it. I have no idea. No, but seriously, the reason I'm saying this is because, you know, going back to derivatives, bonds, and stocks, it just reminded me, like, like if I take my house, right, and I can tokenize it, like kind of like Airbnb is kind of like a tokenized asset in a way, because people are taking, they're going there, they're buying it, they're renting it out for a weekend, and then the next person does it, right? So it's getting it, the value is spreading around through everyone. So, but basically, a derivative token is essentially creating a digital representation of the underlying derivative that can be traded and tracked on a distributed ledger, allowing for fractional ownership, just like the Airbnb, and more efficient trading across a decentralized network. This process can utilize smart contracts to automatically execute the terms of the derivative based on the price movements of the underlying assets. So you have smart contracts, and then it's all about what? Liquidity. That's what it's really about. Liquidity. And who is the on-demand liquidity hub, right? So if you look at Ripple's ODL model, which stands for on-demand liquidity, a system that utilizes blah, 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 XRP to facilitate cross-border payments. We know that. Financial institution by instantly converting currencies through the digital asset exchanges, eliminating the need for pre-funding accounts. That's a big one. In different currencies, significantly reducing transaction times, especially enabling near real-time international money transfers. So, it's basically saying things we already know. So if you look at this question, how can tokenized assets be traded on the XRP ledger? Again, this is what Larry Fink wants. This is what the American people want. This is what the regulators got to figure out, is we want to take, we want the financial world to be more efficient. Basically, if you look at blockchain and crypto as a whole, it's an engine, and it is the most efficient engine on the planet. Right now, we're using a steam engine, right? And then we're going to basically go to a Ferrari, which isn't really efficient. So maybe a Tesla or something. I don't know. But essentially, making it much more efficient. And, once we get tokenized bonds, tokenized stocks, tokenized derivatives, those instruments, like a futures contract, like trading leverage, whatever, those instruments will then be available to us, and then we can trade it, right? Because what that's going to do, it's going to open up more liquidity, more funds, right? For example, like if you have somebody who doesn't trade the stock market, because you have to go to a stock market, or you have to go to an exchange, open up an account, and then you can do your stocks, right? And it's kind of clunky. But if you can do it if you could take that same thing and tokenize it, then everybody can do it in a much better way, right? So basically, tokenized assets can be traded on the XRP ledger through its built-in decentralized exchange, which is a DEX, right? Allowing users to buy and sell tokens directly on the blockchain without relying on a centralized exchange. So I don't want a freaking Robinhood exchange stealing my fees. I want something where it can be much easier for the common person. And this is what exchanges are worried. And this is another reason why exchanges kind of don't want this, right? If you're a Robinhood, do you really want tokenized stocks? No. Why? Because it's going to eat into your profit. Think about how much money Robinhood makes, or whatever exchange, E-Trade or whatever. Okay, take all the money, all the profit that they made and return it back to the people. That is what tokenized is. That's what it means, right? So you have a native DEX, meaning users can trade tokens directly within the blockchain without needing to go to a separate platform, issuing tokens, liquidity. The DEX allows for the creation of liquidity pools and automatic makers, the AMMs, right, to facilitate smooth trading. And that's what it is too, right? Because in order to trade on an exchange, you're going to have those orders get filled, and you're going to need liquidity. So there's liquidity pools, right, the AMMs, and those AMMs are going to be much, much bigger as we go further on, right? So the XRP ledger comes with the DEX, allows the users directly on the blockchain itself. This feature really enhances liquidity by giving their users an accessible marketplace for trading assets. So we're at the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. It's so early. So when will we get tokenized stocks and bonds and things like that? Well, they're already available and expected to become more common, but we should see them more aggressively maybe in this year, right? So, right, and then you also talk about like treasuries, and there's Ondu Finance, a player in on-chain finance, has announced that it now offers tokenized U.S. treasuries on the XRP ledger. That's another thing too, is treasuries. So anyway, I digress. I'm just kind of explaining a lot about the future of what XRP can be about, right? So that AMM, the automatic maker, and the DEX for the XRP ledger, that's a huge thing, because basically what they did is they opened a slot in the ledger that now could handle a tokenized stock like Walmart, Amazon, or a bond, which is even bigger. So if you take, that was one of the highlights in that last video. If you take all the bond, or if you take, tokenize all the bonds, tokenize all the stocks, tokenize all the derivatives, and all XRP needs is 2% of all of that, right? That's $20 trillion. Well, that puts an XRP price at $1,000. That equals 1K XRP price. And all it needs is 2% of the tokenized assets. Now, that might take a long time, right? That might take a long time. But if we could get the ball rolling with regulation, who knows? Maybe we could see a $50 or $100 or even a $200 XRP within the next couple years, several years. It all depends how fast things roll. And when momentum takes over, especially like Trump says, we're entering the golden age, right? The golden age, right? So that's a key word to buy gold, and in my opinion, crypto as well. So, and then you couple that, this is not my field. Charts, technical analysis, that's what I'm doing. That's my field. That's what I know how to do. The fundamental aspect of it, if I line it up, I have to know the fundamentals as an investor. As an investor, you got to know technicals and you got to know fundamentals, right? And you got to have a plan and strategies, things like that. But when we look at XRP, we are literally right at the cusp of breaking into price discovery, okay? And that's why I'm mentioning things like tokenized stocks, tokenized bonds, tokenized derivatives, because it's going to be a huge influence on the price. right? And let's say XRP Ledger has nothing to do with bonds, stocks, or let's say it gets none of the contracts to be traded on. Well, they still have their payment model and they're still adding a bank every month and they're still growing exponentially, right? So, anyways, basically, I'm expecting this to break out and it should be interesting. So let's zoom in a little bit. I mean, we already looked at the price, but I mean, nothing's really changed. I already told you my ideas down here. Are we going to come in back test? Are we going to come in retest the lows? Right? Are we going to have another leg up, then retest the lows? So those are the kind of the three ways I'm looking at it. So yeah, I mean, this could also be like a 1-2. And then we have like 1 2 1 2, and then we have 1 2 3 4 5, which is another 1, and then a 2. So 1 2 1 2, and then we can really accelerate up to the third wave, or we could spend a little bit of time in here before we head on higher. Right now, if we're gonna go lower, the first thing I'm gonna look for is breaking this low here, right? Because this is really the range we're in right here. So, and we're at the upper part of that range. And where are we at with the Fibonacci line here? Well, we've already made it back to almost the 702. So right now we're at the 618, around the golden zone. So this is a big area for the price. And it sometimes it takes time, Sometimes you can have like a like a retracement, and then you come down into reaccumulation, and then you go up, So anyway, that's it for XRP. What about something else like HBAR? Well, it's really the same thing, except XRP is up here, HBAR is down here. So it's definitely stronger. But I'm still looking at this as a beautiful three-way pullback. So, someone asked like, what was my plan for selling my house? Well, again, it doubled in value, and then also interest rates were rising, and then also Joe Biden was president, and I felt like, well, maybe there could be a big stock market crash or a big housing collapse or something. So basically it was a flight to safety. So I basically liquidated the house. I took the cash, and now I'm sitting on the money, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna wait for the storm. I'm gonna weather the storm. I wasn't married to the house, just like I'm not married to XRP or anything else. I wasn't, I lived there for 7 years. I loved it. It was a great house. I had a beautiful, it was on a hill, so it was really cool. Like, it was actually really a lucky find, and it was kind of hard to give it up, but, I'm looking past that, so the plan was to sell the house, sit on the money for between 2 and 5 years, right? And that means living with somebody else, right? Because right now I'm living with my wife and my son, but we're living at my brother-in-law's house. He's got a massive house, and so I can't complain, So it's cool. And also, it's just better living with more people right now, especially as my son grows up, and when I'm working, I can't have, when I'm trying to concentrate, somebody watching my son is good, right? And I don't trust daycares and things like that. Not to mention they're expensive, so it all worked out. So basically, the plan is to sit on the money for a little while, and then eventually buy a new house, maybe when he's ready for preschool or kindergarten. And but here's the thing: once I sold the house, right, we saw XRP kind of going down a little bit here, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just take advantage. Because I'm sitting on all this money in the bank, and I'm just like, you know what? I can't help myself. So I went on a big shopping spree, and that shopping spree has now completely paid off. So basically, all the money here is now that I sold or that I'm sitting on is essentially the same, but less because of inflation. But the money that I invested, and the reason I'm explaining this again is because it just shows you exactly how inflation and investing really impact somebody's life in a real story, right? The money that I'm sitting on is dying, right? It's going down. The money that I invested is gone way up. So in hindsight, I would have taken all of the money and put it in XRP. But you don't ever want to do that because it could have killed you in the later run. But it doesn't matter because, again, being diversified into cash, into crypto, into assets, right? That's what you want. But essentially, what I'm saying is all the money that I took from the house that I put into XRP has basically bought me another house, you know? So that's why I'm like, well, it's like, well, why don't you buy a house now? Because I don't want to sell my XRP at 272, right? I'd rather wait because that would just basically destroy my whole portfolio, you know? I don't want to sell now and then buy a house. I think it's stupid. And I even think, I'm not really into the real estate market, but I think, I talked to a few people that they think, real estate should come on down a little bit, especially as, if we get some kind of reset, things are going to be valued differently. Maybe they don't. Maybe they keep going up, 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 up in value. But my XRP went up faster than a house goes up, right? So if a house is 100K and then it goes 120, 130, 140, 150K, that might take X amount of time. But for XRP, it already basically ate that and then some. So what's the plan now? Well, for me, the plan is to simply wait for either a 4.236 extension or somewhere around here. And then rotate into another crypto. Maybe it could be Monero. Maybe, I don't know yet. We'll see. There's a lot of good contenders. It'll probably be a mixture of many different ones. And then what's the plan? And then the plan after that is to have those ride up and then basically go all into cash, right? Or into gold or whatever. I'm not probably not gold, but go into a lot of cash, right? Especially at the peak of a bull market. And then from there, take that cash and then go look for a house. Because I don't want to stay in cash as cash is continuing to go down. But I still want to see what happens with Trump and the Federal Reserve and the interest rates and the inflation. Because it's really about Trump versus the central bank, right? It's not Trump versus Hillary or Joe Biden or Kamala. It's Trump versus the bank. The banks are what bred the Democrats, are what bred the deep state. They bred the corruption, right? Because, the corporations, the banksters, right? Those guys are at the top level of corruption. So it's my belief that we're going to transition away from the dollar and go to a pretty much, a gold-backed crypto-related system. And it's proof because if you look at Donald Trump's family, he's already invested into his own DeFi platform. So you know what DeFi means? You know what no. Everyone, oh yeah, decentralized finance. No. You know what DeFi means? It means F you to the banks. That's what it means. It means go yourself to the central banks. That's what it means. DeFi is a central bank's worst nightmare because what do banks do? They make money on what? Financial services. But if those services are decentralized, basically, you know how the bankers laugh, ha ha ha, the robots are going to take your job at McDonald's and you're going to have no job because the robots are going to take over everything. Yeah, well, guess what? You know what really the robots are going to take over? Is the banks. You know why? Because crypto, well, it's really not a robot, but crypto is going to, and blockchain technology, in my opinion, is bigger than a robot taking over someone's job because it's taking away the middleman, right? You have yourself, right? you also have the bank right here, right? And then you have whatever you're trying to accomplish, basically the service, right? So if you cut out the middleman, let's say you're getting a loan for a car, or you're trying to do whatever financial service, right? You can get rid of that, and you can do it through somebody else. For example, like I could be a lender, right? It's called decentralized lending. So let's say I had 10 grand that just laying around, which I don't. I wish I did, but let's say I did, and I could put it uh, in this pool, right? In basically a big pool. And then you have clients or investors or whoever who uh, basically borrow money from the pool, and then they have to pay it back plus interest. And then I make money on the interest. So instead of a central bank making money off a loan, now I get to participate and make money off of a loan. And all of this could be tokenized in the future. So the future is very bright, and it's a lot to digest. It's a lot to look forward to. But the main thing we have to do through all of the triumphs is what? HODL. As long as we HODL, that is exactly what we need to do. So anyways, I guess that's my rant part 2. So there's really nothing. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. Bitcoin is bullish. This is not topping behavior to me. This is not topping behavior. Now that I look, the weekly chart is looking good. To me, this is going to take the high. If it takes the low, it's still going to take the high, I think. It's just not the way things top. If we go back to, let's see here, you can kind of see it react that way over here, but let's go back and see. But notice how we had a big slam down. We took the top, we pulled back, and then we took the top again. So we went up in 3, right? But if you look over here, we barely took the top, and it was more like a 3-wave pullback, right? Versus something, where'd you go, Bitcoin? Something like this. Well, where's your 3-wave pullback? You could say, well, here's your 3-wave pullback here, right? And then we go up and then we crash. And yeah, that is possible. But I think this structure itself looks more 3-wave-ish. And then you could see these dojis here. So, either we're going to retrace and crash, we're going to come up and take the high and then come down, right? Both of them are going to give you big retraces. Or you're probably going to go up for one more wave. And I think we will get one more wave. The reason why is because I don't have 5 waves. I got 1, 2. And then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got 1, 2, 3. And then I have an ABC here for 4. And then what am I waiting for? 5. So if we go up and hit wave 5, maybe Bitcoin dominance, maybe that's the reason why altcoins have been just getting obliterated. Where's the alt season? Where's the alt season? Well, here's the thing. We don't get alt season until Bitcoin's finished. Maybe because alt season's not here because Bitcoin's not finished yet, right? Go back in time. Look at Bitcoin back over here. Look, here's Theta right here. Look what Theta did. Basically it did nothing. And Bitcoin was going up all this time. It wasn't until Bitcoin topped. Once Bitcoin topped at the very top, that's when Theta and all the other cryptos exploded after they already topped. Maybe the reason why we're not seeing anything exploding right now, like for example, Theta, you can see it's down in the dumps again, right? But to me, it's ranging in here. Bottom, top, bottom, top. I think we're going to go back to the top and then hopefully break out. But the reason why we haven't seen any crazy movements in Theta or any other coin is because Bitcoin hasn't topped yet. So here's what I'm saying. If we get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we come up and get 5, and then we start doing this topping stuff, that's when we can see massive altcoin explosions, right? And then let's say we come down, and then we come back up in a retrace, and then we get a alt season throughout all of this, whether it's the retrace or the distribution or whatever. But that will come later on, right? So that's, and if we look at Bitcoin dominance, that's going to be another thing right there. So Bitcoin dominance is kind of hanging out, right? So if Bitcoin did go up and make another top, maybe we can see, the price come down a little bit, maybe even hit the high, but staying equal, right? And then kind of coming back down after that's all said and done. So if we pull up Bitcoin side by side here, okay, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, let's get 5. But just because we go up, like if you look right here, Bitcoin dominance was going down, but Bitcoin was going up. But the altcoins were going up more aggressively, right? So Bitcoin can still go up, and the altcoins can definitely beat it. So the big thing we have to wait for is for Bitcoin to finish, right? So like, let's look at Filecoin. Filecoin is down in the dumps, right? I don't want that. So it's pretty pathetic, right? But at the same time, Bitcoin hasn't topped. So if we put Bitcoin on the screen, right, look at the massive difference here. So they both went on this bull run. They both had a bear market, but then Filecoin went sideways and Bitcoin went up. So would I rather be in an asset that is already up or going sideways? Remember, sideways is bullish. The most sideways asset on the planet for crypto is XRP, right? It's sideways. Everybody made fun of it because it's a stable coin. But now look at it. Sideways is good. Sideways is what you want because it builds a big base and you can break out. So, and you also have support here. So let's say we come up and we have one more wave to the upside. Well, that might be all it takes, right? And then we start distributing like we did in here, and then that's when we really shoot up, right? Because people are rotating and we get a big alt season, right? And then maybe the bear market's here, but instead of going into a price discovery for Filecoin, we come back down like we did with XRP. And then we go sideways, and then we go into price discovery later on. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here, unless we can flag out and break out. But the problem is we're doing so at a disadvantage, because if you look at this, it's going to be very hard for Filecoin to go into price discovery because it is so far away, right? Look at the last time. It went from here all the way up, and that's all it could do, right? And that's when it had all the hype and all the buzz around it. So in order to get up here, maybe we have to retrace first and then come back down and flag out, and then maybe go sideways a little bit and just kind of get people used to these prices. And then you can start breaking out later on. And that's what I think for Filecoin. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways breakout. Now, where is XRP? XRP is right here, because XRP already did all the work. Here's XRP right here. So it's ready. It's really, really, really ready to go. But Filecoin, you could say, well, Filecoin can have a better percentage value than XRP, because we've already looked at that, right? I mean, just to get back into some basic retracement levels, you're looking at a 10x just to get back to the retrace levels, right? Now, for XRP to get a 10x, you're going to need at least $20 plus, which I just don't see happening right now unless we have some announcement or whatever. So But yeah, I think Filecoin, and I'm just using it as an example, because look where we're at, the bottom, 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 and we're literally at the bottom, guys. So no wonder why sentiment is in the trash. No wonder why everybody's kind of like, we're never gonna get it. So you have Bitcoin at $100,000, and you have Filecoin at its basically all-time lows. So to me, it's a big deal, right? I mean, this is where investors strap in, lock in, and make the choice, right? This is not financial advice. I could be totally dead wrong. Filecoin can go to zero. You could lose all your money. But to me, if I had Bitcoin, I would be swapping it for XRP. Not financial advice, but that's what I would be doing. Now you can say, oh, it looks like a big head and shoulders here. Well, it could be, but I'd rather see a head and shoulders at the top than at the bottom, right? And let's see if we take this on. Look at the guys. I didn't even look at this. Look at the major bullish divergence on not the 4-hour, not the daily. This is the weekly chart. We have weekly bullish divergence. This is huge, guys. This is bullish, very bullish. So there you go. Let's see how that plays out. But yeah, it's gonna take time though. It's not gonna be overnight. We need to go sideways a little bit. We need to start getting back up here, because we're gonna have to do this ride all over again. And let's see how long it takes. So this one, it took about 70 days. Okay. This one, it took approximately 160 days. Okay. And then this one took approximately, I'm just doing ballpark, 50, 60 days. So you're looking between 50 and 100 days just getting back to the top, right? Unless we have we have a three-way pullback. We come up here, play around a little bit, because when you get to the retracement, you got to cock back and then get back up here. Now, if we can have a big candle, that would be great. Flag out a little bit more, because I still see this as a Wyckoff structure, where you have this Wyckoff structure. You come down for your creek. You got 3 waves here. Look at this. And then you also have 3 waves up and 3 waves down. Now, where have we seen that before? XRP, before XRP left everybody in the dust, right? So you have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You have 3 up and 3 down, and we blasted off into outer space. Well, not quite yet. So go back to Filecoin. I think it was this way, or maybe it was this way. There it is. Same thing, right? So you have 3 waves up, you have 3 waves down. We go sideways a little bit, maybe. So basically what I want to see here is for it to come up, and then I want to see it cock back like this and then explode. And that's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, then we have to break the low. If we break the low, then I'm going to say something else, right? If we break the low, then we have one more chance, because this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then we get that liquidity grab. We get one more major flush, the flush that completely pushes people over the edge, because they think, oh, we're going to go into a bear market. Guess what? We've been in a bear market. We've never left the bear market. If we're barely going into a bear market now, how's that going to be even possible? Because we're already at the lows, right? I mean, yeah, it could go much, much lower, but like, for example, let's look at Theta. Let me get my other Theta chart. Here we go. So if you look at Theta, let's say that the bears are right. Oh, we're going to go to a bear market. Well, where's Theta going to go? It's got all of this support here. Someone said the other day, oh, just, admit it, Theta's crap and we're screwed. No, we're not screwed. Theta does not look like crap. It looks just fine, all right? It needs work. It needs a lot of work, but it's okay. That's just the way it goes, right? I mean, look at where we're at. If we had a bear market, where's Theta going to go? We have all of this support here. So you can see this big area right in here, major support area, right around that dollar area, right? And you can also see a base in here. You can see 3 up, right? And then we have 1, 2, 3 down. That's what you want. So what comes next? You come up here, you flag out, and then you break out. Remember this video. I think I should bookmark this video so when it happens, I can come back. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to be too confident or too cocky about it, but that's kind of what I believe. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, and this could go into a major bear market, but I don't believe that, you know? So, if people think, oh, we're barely entering a bear market, well, where's it going to go? I mean, I guess it could go even much lower. Like, for example, we could take this line and we could put it way down here, guys, right? And if we really want to talk bearish, well, here you go. Ready? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then you have this 3 waves up and a retrace, and then you have 1, 2. Let's get 3, 4, and 5. So we have 5, 3, 5. That's a big. So that is if the bears are right, and that is a real possibility. The reason, and you can say, well, that means theta sucks. That means theta is dead. No, that means theta needs a bigger correction, because look at how massive that rally is. Guys, we went from pennies all the way up to $15. That is monumental. I mean, you're talking 50,000%. So if something goes up 50,000%, it's going to correct big, all right? And the fact that it's corrected, what was that, like 80%? I mean, basically you take this whole wave, right, and you cut it in half. That's exactly where theta went. But the base of theta, theta doesn't have a lot of support because theta hasn't been around that long. It's a brand new chart, guys. And this chart is so brand new that it's only had one wave. It's had one little accumulation, one big wave, a big move down, and now we have sideways consolidation here. So there's 2 things. One, we're going to go into the retrace, a bigger retrace level, then flag out, then continue. Another one would be go into the retrace level, coming down a little bit, going into reaccumulation, then continue. Right? Another one is same thing, going up, but the bearish one would be A, B, and then C, and then go up. So those are the options. Basically, one's going to take much longer than the other. So I don't think that's going to be the case. You can see this line is also very significant around the dollar area. Support, 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 right? Support. So we could come down here a little bit further. Again, we just had a major liquidation event. So usually after a big liquidation event, you don't go continuing down. It usually marks the bottom, right? So now we want to set our sights back to the top of the range here. So the goal for theta is to get back to the top. And I think that's going to happen. So we'll see. So if you look at XLM is also extremely bullish. Oh my God. Look at this. You got 3 waves up. You got 3 waves down. Super, super bullish. You got a 1, 2, and then you got a 3, and then you got an ABC for a 4. Dude, this thing's going to go up and hit a 5. I mean, it looks like it. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, We got to come all the way back down here. We get 3 up. Maybe we get 3 down. Let's say we get 3 up, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. It's a big ABC. Right? And then we go back up. And then it could be like a 1, 2, 1, 2, but I doubt it. I don't think so. Look at the 3-wave move. It looks gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that. 1, 2. Look at the 3-wave move. I mean, it's perfect. It's beautiful. Right? Now, that doesn't mean it's finished. It could go sideways a little bit more. It can even come back and retest the wick a little bit. And then, work its way around and then continue higher, right? Or it could be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5, get further down and then continue up. So, but I don't know. I'm not convinced that's what's playing here. So if you can hit the like button, guys, I really appreciate it. If you made it this far, you can hit that like, especially because when I go over an hour, I don't mean to go over an hour. It just happens that way. Once I start talking about crypto and money and financial whatever, I get pretty excited because this is the stuff I'm passionate about. So look at Monero versus Bitcoin, man. Look at the divergence there. You got a perfect double, and this is coming from Benjamin Cohen, basically the Sheldon Cooper of crypto, a genius, right? Kudos to him. He's highly recommend subscribing to Benjamin Cohen. He's great. But yeah, basically his whole thing is the dominance thing, right? So when you look at dominance, he's right. But when you look at a coin versus Bitcoin, basically what he says is you want to look for a double bottom. See how we came here? We bottom, double bottom, go. Came down here, bottom, double bottom, hopefully go. Now you could say, well, we had a double bottom over here and it failed. That's true. Well, it just wasn't ready yet. But now we have a three-wave shape. You could see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have 3 up, and then we have 5 down. So if you use the double bottom in conjunction with Elliott wave, you have a 5, 3, 5. And we have a double bottom at the bottom of a three-wave pullback between the 4th and the 5th. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want. So I think Monero is going to be amazing. I don't know. It could be wrong, but I don't know. And I think SHIB is also going to do very, very well. I love the way SHIB looks on the chart, on the zoomed out chart. This is going to take time. It's going to take time, but it looks perfect. You know, if you look at this accumulation structure, the reason I like it so much is because of its sideways nature. Look at this base right here. Right? It's like, it's perfect. You know, it's got a beautiful base. And you broke out, you back tested it, and then you came up, and then you back tested again. We have a double bottom, but not only you have a double bottom, guys, not only do you have a double bottom, but you also have an ABC. And not only you have an ABC, but you have 3 down. And not only you have 3 down, but you had 3 up, and then we have 3 down. What comes next? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or even 3. So yeah, let's see if that plays out. Look at that doji candle, by the way. Let me see. Let me turn this sequence. Oh, we got a 9, guys. And I remember talking about. And we also have a doji 8, so that's really good. So we're on a. Not only that, we have all of the things I just said, but we also have a 9 buy. So perfect, right? I think it's perfect. So now it's about holding support, building bases, getting back into the retrace, then flagging out, and then breaking out. And that's what we need to do. And that's how I see it happening. Now, if we take the low, then we're probably going to come down and retest lower areas. But if we did do that, remember, we have a lot of support. It's not like, guys, it's not like we went into a big bull run and now we're at the top and it's super scary looking down because there's not that much support. Instead, you have to come all the way back down to support, down, way down here, right? But if you look, we're already at support. Look how much support is here. This is years and years of support. So if we break the low, you still got this support, this support. I mean, there's so many supports in here. So it's, you know, and we already just had a major dump, right? So anyways, Theta Fuel. Guys, Theta Fuel is on a weekly 9 buy. I don't know what else to say except it's bullish. Not only that, but you have a 3-wave pullback. So you have 3 up, you have 3 down, and you're on a 9, and you're to the weekly chart. So to me, it's super cool. Look at the 9 on this on over here, right? So Theta Fuel was a little tricky for me back over here. But it's not tricky anymore. I think it looks perfect. Look at this, guys. Again, we got 3 up, We got 3 down, and we're on a 9, and we're on support. You break out, you back test, you come up, you test it again. Guys, this is bullish. I'm bullish. I don't know what else to say. Theta. We looked at Theta. All right, what's the other one I wanted to look at real quick? Monero, but not Monero versus Bitcoin. Monero versus Monero. USD. Whoa, look at Monero, guys. On the weekly, guys, oh my God. The weekly candle. This is probably the grand finale, and I talked about a lot of cool things today. Or at least I think they're cool. You know, this is kind of the stuff I geek out over, is things like that. But guys, look at this. Look at this. The weekly candle ends tomorrow. And look where the weekly candle is. Breakout time. Breakout time. Oh my God, it's happening. Guys, we're right at the edge of breaking out here. We basically broke out. Remember what I said? This is an ascending triangle, right? It could be a flat, but I think it was a flat, and I think it finished. Look at the wick. It came down here. Boom, 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 right? And now you have a bullish engulfing candle breaking above this structure here. Super, super bullish. All right, let's zoom in. I can't wait to see what it looks like zoomed in. Now, when you zoom in, it's not as sexy, but it still looks pretty good. You know, drink a couple beers, it's fine. No, but seriously, it's cool. I think I just don't really like all of this, but you know, I can see why it did it. Okay, so if you look closely, and let me remove this so it's not cluttered. And then, yeah, there's the weekly close, so I'm going to leave that alone. So as long as we stay above 223, we're pretty good. So look, we had 3 down, right? We had 3 up, and then we had 1, 2, 3 back down. And this was a flat. You can see how it took the high, but it only did it in 3. We slammed the low, and then look what happened. Here's the kicker right here. We came all the way up, and then we came all the way back down. Double bottom. Double bottom. Okay? And that double bottom was retesting all of the support down here. This is super bullish. And then we came up, right? And we battled a little bit, and then we popped the high. So what do I think now? Well, it's a little bit tricky. But what I think now is we got to kind of flag out a little bit, I think. Because, you know, you had all this wishy-washy. When you get wishy-washy, you got to level out and you got to flag out to get a little bit. Because you want the posture, you want the stance being good, you know. Like, I don't know, like, what kind of stance do you need when playing golf? You know, there's a certain way you have to do it. So, in order to get the big swing out of there, right? So... yeah, that's one way I can see it, flagging out and then breaking out. Another way is basically just going for it, you know. The worst case scenario, you do have only 3 waves here, so we could come back down in 3 before going up, but since we already have this double bottom, I'm not so sure about that. But yeah, this is the bullish chart that I wanted to show you guys. Any other charts here? I mean, Jupiter kind of looks weird. It's very, very risky, but it looks interesting because it's very tight. When things are tight, that means an explosive move is maybe on the horizon. Look at H-bar. This is another one you want to keep an eye on. Very beautiful 3-way pullback. Big impulse, 3-way pullback. Looking for another high. ADA, same, literally exactly the same. Matic, Matic's different because look at this. Matic, we have a double bottom, guys. Super bullish. But if we break the low, then it'd be, you know, I don't want to break the low. And then we have Trump had a little bit of a pop here. Remember I said just the other day I said keep an eye on Trump. It might get a little bit of a pop here. 1, 2, 3. It looks like it needs to come down, and 3. We get 3 up and 3 down, and then let's go. Litecoin. Here we go. Litecoin. All right, now let's go to the weekly. Let me see what it looks like. Okay, we're not quite there, but we are there. I was kind of hoping that, I mean, we have a bullish engulfing candle on the weekly, by the way, very bullish. But you can see there's your line there, and there's your line there. So we're basically in this area. So if we could close above 135, that would be pretty nice. But basically next week should be bullish, I would imagine. Link looks really good too. You got a nice three-way pullback. So everything looks good. I'm going to go get ready because we're going to Monster Jam down in Anaheim. So if you're down there, maybe I might run into you. Algo also looks good. So everything is pretty much done. QNT. I mean, they're all the same. So anyways, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you can hit the like, subscribe, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and look out for a members video. I try to do 2 a month. I haven't done any this month yet. Or did I? I don't remember. I'll have to go and look. But I try to do 2 a month. And yeah, so look out for that this coming week. Unless the price action is so crazy that I can't keep up, we'll see. But and then in that case, it'll open the door for rotations and targets. Because that's the biggest thing, right? Is the chart itself, learning how to trade, learning how to expect where the price is going to go, number one, which I do all the time. So it's kind of free information anyway. But then number two is targets and learning how to scale out like you're scaling in. And then also rotations. I think rotations is the biggest one. Because if you can take $100, buy a coin, and then that coin goes up and you made $200, you take that $200 and you buy another coin, or you rotate into another coin, and then that goes up and now you made $800, right? And then you cash out and you're good. So until the next time, until the next opportunity presents itself. But anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Remember, not financial advice. And yeah, let's see what Sunday. Tomorrow is Sunday, so let's see what happens.